begin by welcoming our distinguished guests. I'm going to start with our Vice Chief of Staff of the Army and our distinguished speaker for today, General Joseph Barton. So thanks very much for joining us here today. Of course, our host for the lunch today, Sergeant Major of the Army, Michael A. Grinston. Okay, we have, I saw Master Sergeant Leroy Petrie, our Medal of Honor recipient that's with us again today.
Ranger!
I also want to recognize Command Sergeant Major Kenneth Rock Merritt. Command Sergeant Major Merritt, and you're going to hear a lot more about Sergeant Major Merritt. But what I'm going to say right now is that World War II, Korea, Vietnam, 35 years, distinguished service, Command Sergeant Major.
Oh, yeah!
Sergeant Merritt here just a little bit in our program. I want to recognize Dr. Roy Cooper. Dr. Cooper is an Army veteran, formerly Sergeant Roy Cooper, but he's the founding director at Human Engineering Research Laboratories. He's a distinguished professor at the University of Pittsburgh, and he's a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army. Dr. Cooper, thanks very much for being with us. He's also a world-class athlete, and he competes in hand cycle events all over the world. And the thing I want you to know about Dr. Cooper is that yesterday morning at the start line for the Army 10 miler, I was down there and I asked him, I said, hey, Dr. Cooper, what do you think you're going to do this in? He said, 35 minutes. 35 minutes. So I asked him that, I said, how was your time? He said, 36. I said, I was third on the hand cycles coming in. So very amazing, and thank you very much. And you represent our Army very well. Okay, we've got two former Sergeants Major of the Army with us. We've got Sergeant Major of the Army Raymond Chandler III. And we got Sergeant Major of the Army Daniel A. Daly. Okay, for those that were at the opening ceremony upstairs just a little while ago, I mean, one of the awards that we did this morning was the Sergeant Major of the Army William G. Bainbridge Award. And of course, we've got our newest Bainbridge Award recipient, Command Sergeant Major retired Frank Manowski, that's here with us also for this lunch. And I will also, Gray Wolf, and I will also ask all the other recipients of the Bainbridge Award to please stand. And I know we've got several that are here with us. Okay, so our international Sergeants Major of the Army and senior non-commissioned officers that we have with us, we have the Sergeant Major of the Army for the British Army, W01 Regimental Sergeant Major Gavin Patton. SMA, thanks for being with us. We have the Sergeant Major of the Army for the New Zealand Army, W01 Regimental Sergeant Major Clive Douglas. We have the Sergeant Major of the Army for the Republic of Korea Army, Command Sergeant Major Kim. Command Sergeant Major Kim over there, by the way, too, is a Class 51 graduate of the United States Army Sergeant Major Academy. We have the Sergeant Major of the Army of the Swedish Army, Sergeant Major of the Army Lundgren. Sergeant Major, thank you very much for being with us. And we have the Command Sergeant Major for the Land Forces, United Arab Emirates, Command Sergeant Major Hassan. The other piece things I want you to know about Command Sergeant Major Hassan is that he's a Class 69 graduate of the United States Army Sergeant Majors Academy and the first Sergeant Major from the United Arab Emirates to graduate from that distinguished institution. Okay, I want to recognize all of our senior commanders that are here, fellow Sergeants Major, all of our family members, and especially our Gold Star mothers, wives, and family members that are here with us today. And I'll just say that we will never forget. I also want to say thanks to all of our friends, and especially the retired soldiers that are here with us. There's a huge alumni here in the audience with us, and also all of our veterans of the Army. And as I've told everybody before, we stand, the Army today stands on your shoulders. And your service and contributions while you're in uniform has really made our Army today the greatest Army in the world. So thank you all very much for joining us. Our sponsors. On your table you'll see a tent card. And I want to recognize all the sponsors on that tent card. And I'll just say that we cannot do all the things that we do to support soldiers and families if it wasn't for the support of our sponsors. A welcome to all of our best warrior NCO and soldier competitors. We have 21 of them with us here today, and I'd ask them if they would just please stand for a moment so we can recognize them. Okay, and one of those 21 will be the non-commissioned officer, and another will be the soldier of the year. But you're not going to hear that from me. Okay, you have to wait a little bit while in the program. So at this time, I would ask Sergeant Major Martinez from the Office of the Chief of Chaplains to come up and give us our invocation so we can begin eating.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we pause today to thank you for this time, for your passion and your abundant blessing. We celebrate and recognize the accomplishment of these non-commissioned officers and soldiers. We take time to thank you for their gifts of selfless service and commitment to high standards. We recognize the honor of serving, acknowledge the responsibility of leading. Help us to embody the Army values and empower us to do our best to live in accordance to the tenet of our professed faith and values. Look after the families of our fallen. May we not never forget their sacrifice. Provide strength to those deployed and comfort their families who wait for their return. As we gather around the table with family, friends, and food, let us be ever mindful of those less fortunate. Bless the food that we're about to receive. May it provide life, health, strength, and all that we need for righteous living. Lord, wherever we go, prepare the way, provide peace, and maintain your faithfulness towards us. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So, thanks very much. So at this time, please enjoy your lunch, and I will ask you to, while you're enjoying your lunch, we've got a short video we're going to show. It's a blooper video from the Best Warrior competition. And so all the Best Warriors are out there cringing right now. It's a blooper video, and then it's a slide presentation. Enjoy your lunch.
very eye-opening as well. Plus, they get to stay connected to the tactical weapons. Girl said really but I do all the
And then there's
under MPW, but both at social I was not. Those guys so many names elsewhere. You often wonder, we get more services. We really put it all under one umbrella. So, from a regimental perspective, we kicked off
probably going to come out here with tofu.
specialized delivery.
Yeah, because I was a vegetarian.
It's the second year we're
Tofu
doing
with chicken.
And then last year we did
Last year.
yeah, so what we think 22, I think will probably emerge. So anything from the rookie big ball screen or something. That's was really the soft aspect. The senior civilian out kind of had to deal with
Hey, man.
and I can appreciate that too.
Oh, yeah. It's good for me. You can take that too. I want to eat.
And it's really good for CHC. So that's all team leaders, squad leaders, SCI focused on largely was how do you get access to specialized doties?
I like the goal of it was to basically break all of the state implementations away into GIS. So run one major one and then small satellites in each state. But it's not to the size. It really panned out. It ran for about 18 years. I did about 8 years of it. So we got to 10 until
We've got some sustainability questions.
they shut it down at the beginning. For now, they got rumors that might go down there.
Property, you know, they've got a
I don't know. I think a lot of police in their part to keep the state.
I think that's another example. I don't want a kid sent somewhere for 5 weeks.
Ladies and gentlemen, while you're enjoying your meal, continue to eat. And while you're enjoying your dessert, we're proud to present the United States Army Chorus, based out of Fort Myers, Virginia, and conducted by Master Sergeant Jason Gottschalk. The chorus was formed in 1956 as the vocal counterpart of the United States Army Band at Persian Zone. In addition to performing for presidents, visiting dignitaries, and heads of state, the chorus has appeared in concert halls all across the country. The dedication and professionalism brought to each performance by the members of this group have established a reputation of excellence which is recognized around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the world-renowned United States Army Chorus.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sergeant First Class Jesse Neese on behalf of our enlisted conductor, Master Sergeant Jason Gottschalk, and the entire Army Chorus. It's such a pleasure for us to be back here again this year supporting the Sergeant Major of the Army Chorus. We're going to begin by taking you all on a trip down memory lane with two songs, two cadence walls that we hope will be familiar to you. First is They Say That in the Army, and second we'll follow that with Everywhere I Go, featuring Sergeant First Class Andre McRae. They say that in the Army the chow is mighty fine. They say that in the Army the chow is mighty fine. A chicken jumped off the table and started marking time. A chicken jumped off the table and started marking time. Oh Lord, I wanna go. Oh Lord, I wanna go. But they won't let me go. But they won't let me go. Yeah, Army life is something else. Let's start with the food. They say that in the Army the biscuits are so fine. One roll on the table and killed a friend of mine. Oh, I don't want no more of Army life. Gee, Mom, I wanna go home. Hey, I got another one for you. They say that in the Army the coffee's mighty fine. It's good for cuts and bruises and tastes like iodine. Oh, I don't want no more of Army life. Gee, Mom, the divisions of our Army. And we'd like to include the ballad of the Green Berets as a recognition of all the work of our Special Forces. We'll begin with Gary Owen, the song of the 1st Cavalry Division. 10th Mountain Division. It's been a pleasure for us to join you again this year for the Sergeant Major of the Army Luncheon and Awards ceremony. We would like to close our program this afternoon by asking you to stand and join us in singing the Army song.
And the Army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the Army goes rolling along. And it's hi, hi, hey, the Army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. Wherever you go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along.
Well done, well done. How about another round of applause for the United States Army Corps? You know, standing up here with the SMA, we were there listening to everybody, and we probably give everybody a C- on singing those division songs. You know, you need a little bit more work, a little more polish, and you'll do better next year. So at this time, it's my honor to bring up our Sergeant Major of the Army, Michael A. Grinston.
Okay, I gotta admit, you didn't get me really excited and fired up, so we gotta do something. Let's go. Good afternoon. Okay, that's not gonna cut it. So let's go. Good afternoon. Hula. How about that? Rock, you're gonna grade us on this, okay, right? So good afternoon. You guys just don't listen. It's good afternoon. Hula. I'm going to say good afternoon. You're going to respond with good afternoon. Come on, we got to get. You ready? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Rock, we get a go on that? He said, okay. Hey, good afternoon. I'm really happy to be here with you today, and this is the event. If you didn't know, there's always people waiting out. This is the luncheon you really want to be in. We got all this great entertainment, and we got great folks that we want to recognize today. We got the best warrior competition. And we still don't know who that's going to be. So you're sitting there very nervous, and I don't know, so I'm not going to tell you either. So you got to talk to Sergeant Major Reedbuck. He'll be here in a minute. But before you do that, I'd really like to thank a couple of people in the room. I want to start off with the Vice Chief being here with us today. Sir, thank you for being here. It's an honor to be here, and we look forward to your words here in a few minutes. I also want to thank Dr. Cooper. Thank you for being here, and thank you for participating in the race yesterday. And we've also got some real heroes out here with us today. And I don't know if Staff Sergeant Bellavia made it today. He's at the other. Oh my goodness. We won't talk bad about him. Yeah, but we're not going to talk bad about him. But we do have Master Sergeant Leroy Petrie being here. He's been a great supporter, and I just want to thank you again for joining us. You've been here with us a lot throughout the years, and I just want to personally thank you for being here. Oh. We've got our international friends out, former SMAs. We've got SMAs out here. I would like to thank our international SMAs first, is that we have never fought a war alone, and we're not going to, so thank you for joining us in this for the SMAs that are out here with us. And the former SMAs. I get a lot of mentorship, and I only have 3, well, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th are here staring at me, so if I don't do well, you can blame all of them. It's their fault. They helped me get here, and to the former SMAs, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being here. We also, the Best Warrior Competition competitors, they stood up. I got a chance to spend a little bit of time, and you've got some of these soldiers throughout your table. Get to know them, ask them where they're from and what they do, and you will be inspired that our Army is in great hands. I know I'm a little bit closer to the end than I am the beginning of my military service, although I am a soldier for life, so maybe I got a long way to go. But I know when it's time for me to go, the Army is going to be in great hands because of the great warriors that competed during this event. So let's give them one more round of applause. They're awesome. And we couldn't do this without the team. And a lot of times we come in here and it's, you got hundreds of people, you got thousands going to the luncheon. And I just want to thank SMA Preston and the AUSA team. These events are really hard to put together, to get them all coordinated and get the rehearsals in. It takes a year's long worth of work. And I just want to say, can we give the round of applause to the support for all the people that put this together? And if you've ever put one of these together, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's really hard. But one of the things I want to do right now is recognize the 5th honorary SMA Rock Merit. When you read his story about extreme dedication and lifelong commitment to serving our soldiers, you have to go no further than the man right here. This year's nomination has mentored and inspired thousands of leaders, and he was known as the squad leader, Sergeant Major. Well, I think that's fitting when you think about one of my initiatives is This Is My Squad. I wish I had a squad leader like Rock Merritt. He focuses on making a team better, and he's done that for a very long time. Rock, 77 years ago tomorrow, on the 15th of October, 1942, from Muskogee, Alabama, he volunteered to join the Airborne and served in the 508 Infantry Regiment, making combat jumps into Normandy, France, and Holland. That wasn't enough. He served in the Battle of the Bulge as a machine gun platoon. As you might be able to tell from his surplus paratroopers in the room, he served in the 82nd. Now, I don't know. 82nd, our first song was a little iron. We can debate that. I'll give it to Joe Crow just because of you, sir. We'll give it to the 82nd this time. Okay, sir, just a second. But Rock Merritt is a true hero, and he served 2 tours in Korea, 1 tour in the Dominican Republic and 1 tour in Vietnam. After his time in the All-American Division, he served 2 tours in the 18th Airborne Corps, Sergeant Major, and the only person to serve as the 18th Airborne Corps Sergeant Major twice. He also served in countless numbers of soldiers, helped countless soldiers serve throughout his career. Sergeant Major Merritt was nominated to be the Sergeant Major of the Army in 1968, 1970, and 1973. I can say now we're going to make you an honorary member. We finally got it right, Rock. You're going to be an honorary Sergeant Major of the Army. He retired in 1977 and has done so much to help the soldiers. Last week, he's telling me about last week, he was up talking to the 10th Mountain Division at an NCO professional development. And we were talking just at our table a few minutes ago. I said, man, I hope at 94, 96, I'm not doing all that. And he's sitting there having these conversations, doing leader development. And I hope, Rock, I want to be you. Okay? So I have a new coin. Now, you can't make this up because my coins actually came in today. So if you got a coin in the last week or so, it does say Sergeant Major of the Army on it, but it doesn't actually have my name on it. And I literally got them this morning, and I said, I want to give the first Michael A. Grinston Sergeant Major of the Army coin to Rock Merritt. Okay, and at this time, we're going to show a video dedicated to Rock Merritt.
And then I decided I'd become 18 years old and have bombed Pearl Harbor, and I'm ready to go. So I went to the recruiting station. I'm going to be a Marine. I like their uniform, I thought. And as I go by the Army recruiting station, it was all in the courthouse in Muskogee, Oklahoma. And Army, the guy motioned me to come in. I come in and had a big poster of a paratrooper floating down, and across his reserve was a Thompson submachine gun. And the caption below of it was, "Are you man enough to fill these boots?" Then he said, you know, we pay you $50 a month to jump out of our plane. So that's $100 a month for a country boy out of Oakland. That's a lot of money. I said, sign me up. So that was how come me to get in the airborne, period. So I forgot about the Marine uniform and got airborne when I was 17 years old. And I was San Marie, so we had a lot of fights and what have you. And that's where basically I picked up the name. Not rock, hard rock. That was what was being told. They dropped the hard when General Emerson commanded 18th Airborne Corps in 1975, I guess, what have you. And he dropped the hard and just called me rock. I had a lot of fights when I was in the CCC camp. And I won some and lost some, but that's how I come from. A lot of people say, well, they threw you in a cement mixer once at a wedding after the war, but it really started in the CCC camp in 1940, 1941. I was a squad leader into Normandy. I was a section sergeant in Operation Market Garden, and I was a platoon sergeant in the Battle of the Bulge. So I went from corporal to platoon sergeant, 4 or 5 months, I guess. It wasn't that mine was that well qualified. It was a process of elimination. Everybody else got killed and you had to move up. When we jumped into Normandy, sir, on the 6th of June, at 2:30 in the morning, my 1st Battalion, 508, my entire battalion got killed. The whole chain of command of my battalion got killed. So everybody had to move up one group. We got no replacements in Normandy, none whatsoever. So everybody moved up one. What was the difference between Normandy and Operation Market Garden? About 8,000 troops that were wounded or killed was the difference. My regiment that dropped in Normandy was 2,051 officers and men. And our formation back in Nottingham, England, after 33 days, was 880 people out of the 21, 2,100. So that's about 70% that we lost. I'm a great believer. Squad leader has the toughest job in the Army. He's the first to see the enemy. In a lot of cases, he's the last to see the enemy. And, I talk to him all the time. Oh yeah, my great belief in most all my talks are about the duties of squad leaders. I do that all over the world. In the last 42 years, that's all I've done. Not only the 82nd, I've talked about squad leaders to special forces and anybody at Fort Bragg that wants me to call and talk to them, I do. So anyway, I enjoy it. I have had a lot of surprises, I guess. But the two top surprises I guess had in my 35 years in the Army and 42 years as I've been out is this one here a couple of weeks ago when I was called and said I've been selected to be the honorary sergeant major of the Army, and General Omar Bradley. That's how come me being doing all this stuff. And it was a request from this 5-star general. Like I say, I tried for 30 years just to talk to him, and all of a sudden, he wants to talk to me. And it all happened at the AUSA in Sheridan Park, and that's why I'm going up there to receive this award. And it probably, if it hadn't been for me doing all the speaking all these years, 42 years, I wouldn't have got that job of honorary command sergeant major if it hadn't been for General Bradley asking me to do all that stuff for the infantry. It ranks high as of all the awards I've received in the Army, my 35 years, my 42 years is out. It's probably one of the one or two that I've seen. Like I say, one of them was General Bradley's that talked to me, and this one right here. It's just unbelievable that I received that. All I can say is thank you. It's one of the greatest achievements or awards I've ever received in my entire life.
Could I have the former SMEs come join me on the stage? Okay, Rocky, you gotta come on up, man. It's time.
Good evening, troops. General officers, sergeant majors, lovely ladies. First, I think you showed everything on the screen that I was going to say, but I appreciate it. But I guess in my 36 years in the Army and been retired 42 years, I have received some messages that surprised me. But I guess the biggest surprise I got was 3 weeks ago when the Command Sergeant Major of the 82nd Airborne Division called and said, "Rock, I got some good news for you. You've just been selected honorary Sergeant Major to Sergeant Major of the Army." So anyway, I don't know the procedure that you had selected me, but I think one thing, I think the Command Sergeant Major of the United States Army had a hell of a lot to do with it. Also, maybe Forces Command Sergeant Major, and of course, my own Sergeant Major from the 82nd Airborne Division. Now, if I got 3 minutes, I'll tell you what happened, why I've been working with our squad leaders for the last 42 years. It was 1977, the Sheridan Park Hotel at the AUSA convention, that I had brought 16 Soldiers of the Year to the AUSA convention to meet one of the greatest all-time 5-star generals that loved squad leaders and the infantry soldier, Omar Bradley. He talked to those 16 soldiers. I said, "You want in a group, Jim?" "Oh no, I want to talk to them one-on-one." He talked to all of them with the same message. First question he asked, the squad leader would say, "Soldier, what's your MOS?" He'd pop to and say, 11 Bravo, sir. And then he'd get up out of his chair and point and say, "You know, he's got this hardest job in the Army. He's the first to see the enemy. Normally he's the last to see the enemy," and what have you. And he went on, he didn't give no reenlistment talk. He merely stated, when you go to college, you get out, what have you. And when they left, he told the aide, bring in here a chair for Rock. I sat down and talked to him for 30 minutes. I didn't get to ask no questions. He done all the questions asked, but I did sneak in a couple. I said, General Eisenhower just made a quote of the day that you are the only general or the only person in the armed forces that can control General George S. Patton. He said, is that true? This five-star General Bradley says, hell no. Nobody can control George S. Patton. He hesitated a minute, then he said, but Sergeant Major, he's the greatest field commander we've ever had. So then I asked him a second question. Sir, did you get along with General Field Marshal Montgomery of the unit? He said, no, he said that was Ike's job, not mine, so I didn't know it. But anyway, he said, are you coming back up next year with your soldiers of the year? I said, no, sir, I'm retiring 2 months, sir. He said, where are you retiring to? I said, Fayetteville, North Carolina. He said, isn't that about 5 miles from Fort Bragg? I said, yes, sir, it is. He said, I don't know what you're going to do, Rock, when you retire, but you're going to have some leisure time, and I want you to promise me that all that leisure time, you go out to Fort Bragg and you help them squad leaders, because they need our help. And here's a five-star general, almost 100 years old, still worrying about the sergeant, so squad leader. So, ladies and gentlemen, you don't say no to a five-star general. So that's what I've been doing the last 42 years of my life. And I don't keep all my talks to sergeant squad leaders at Fort Bragg. Last week, I was at the 10th Mountain Division and talked to those troops, and I'm going to tell you, of all my talk, we have now, I think, the best squad leaders we've ever had in the United States Army. They are tentative, well-educated, and they want to learn. And like I said, let me give you just a couple, and then I'll shut up. Squad leaders' questions. When you're talking to 150 squad leaders like I was at Camp Drum last week, I talked 15 minutes and they ask you questions for 1 hour. You know that you got over something to them squad leaders. Two of the squad leaders, one of them said, Sergeant Major Rock, when you was a squad leader 100 years ago, and he meant that, but he wasn't too far off, because I was a squad leader 76 years ago in Normandy. I was a squad leader, so he wasn't too far off. He said, did you have problems with your squad like we got today? I thought, I said, no, sir, we didn't have the squad leader problem that you have today. We had no drugs whatsoever. We had nobody committing suicide, whatever. We had very few AWOLs. What we did have was Dear Johns. We had a lot more than what you got today. It's simple reason, simple timing. You go over now, you're fighting a different war that Rock Merritt fought in, but most of the time as you come back after 9 months or 13. In my crew, we had people been over there for 5 years, and they're married an 18-year-old girls and 17-year-old girls. So our chaplain had a big job in World War II with Dear Johns. And speaking of the chaplain here, I learned early in my career that chaplains do more than conduct services on Sunday morning. If they're well educated, and I tell them all my squad leaders I talk to, the chaplain can't help you if you don't tell him you've got a problem. And you're smart, but you're not the smart to tell when the guy's going to commit suicide, to tell him not to. You need to go to the chaplain. Anyway, so I believe in using our chaplains. The first 5 days in Normandy, I had a chaplain with me all the way because he got lost. And I was lost also. But when we got back to Nottingham, England, after 33 days, the sergeant stripes, somebody turned in and wrote a little note that said, Rock Merritt was the only man in the 82nd Airborne Division that had his own chaplain the first 5 days in Normandy. I want to thank the AUSA for allowing this program to go on here and to honor me and to honor what we're going to have here lately, some outstanding, I'm quite sure, squad leaders. And thank the team that submitted my approval for the soldier, Sergeant Major, for the honorary position of Sergeant Major. It's love. And anyway, I will keep on talking about our squad leaders. In my personal opinion, and all I think the squad leaders are the foundation of any unit. Without them, we ain't nothing. So please help our squad leaders. Thank you.
Well, sir, the good news is I actually don't have to follow that. I know I was just hired 2 months ago, now I'm fired. Sir, I just want to thank, let's give Rock one more round. So we are honored to have a guest speaker today and to say a few words to us is General Martin. And if you don't know him, I did a little research, sir. I think he swam in college. He was a swimmer, really likes to swim. I haven't seen him do any swimming as the vice. So I don't know where that came from. He's an avid Michigan fan.
Good man.
Yeah, you and one other person. You go, good, Jeff, good job. Yeah. Who are you rooting for, sir? You know, West Point or Michigan? There we go. I'm fired already. I told you, this is going to work. You know, one other thing when you introduce the vice is his son is in the Army. He's in 175 as an enlisted soldier. So a lot of times we talk about the Army as a family, and it is a family. We're all family. But when you give your son or daughter to the Army, that's commitment. And that's a long-term commitment, and it speaks volumes about the vice. But don't do anything to his son in 175. We'll come for you. I think he's a pretty good golfer, but I'm pretty sure we got higher on our golf scramble the other day. We did okay. But I just wanted to say, from a former Big Red 1 soldier to another Big Red 1 soldier, sir, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being the Vice Chief of Staff in the Army, and we look forward to your work. So give us a round of applause for the Vice Chief of Staff.
Okay, yeah, Rock's a tough act to follow. Good God. But I'm going to scare the heck out of you, and I'm going to tell you before I even speak that what I'm going to talk to you about is something that I did not collaborate with him, but there is some serious synergy between his thought on how the world ought to operate and my thoughts on how the world ought to operate. And so I'd ask you to bear with me. Sergeant Major, thanks for inviting me to do this. I've heard a lot about this luncheon, and it's pretty powerful. It's a powerful venue, and it's a great celebration of excellence for our non-commissioned officer corps and the soldiers of our Army. I'm humbled to join you this afternoon, and I'm honored to share a room with so many dedicated, inspiring leaders who shaped and will continue to shape our Army. I'd like to extend a special welcome to Leroy Petrie once again, and David Bellavia. He's off with TRADOC, I guess, but that's okay. But we can't applaud your service and your sacrifice enough, so please, one more round of applause for you. Also along with us this afternoon are the best warrior competitors, and I know the SMA plans to announce the winners of the competition a little later in the program, but in my opinion, you're all winners. You've all heard the chief say winning matters, and it sure does. And you represent what we want in our soldiers: physically fit, resilient, dedicated professionals who are the example of readiness. So job well done to each of you. You've made your units proud. Non-commissioned officers are true to the soul of the Army. From the Army's beginning, NCOs blazed a path through history. You hold a reputation of hard service, a reputation of responding when the nation called, and during periods of significance, when the Army desperately needed leadership, we turned to you. We turned to the non-commissioned officer, and despite the heavy burdens placed on your shoulders, you have never failed us. As the Army continues down that road to modernize our force, we're going to look to our non-commissioned officer corps again for that vital leadership. It really sets us apart from most armies around the world. We look to you to build the cohesive teams that are lethal, ready, and committed to the Army values. This all starts at the Army's most foundational structure, at the squad and section level. All of today's technology, we've got some wicked, exquisite technology. We've always dominated our adversaries with technology, but it wasn't the technology that allowed us to succeed. It has been the United States Army soldier led by non-commissioned officers. There's nothing like it in the world. There's nothing that compares to the power of a section chief or squad leader who builds a relationship of trust and mutual respect with their soldiers. And then when you add on top of that the soldier's family and the soldier's battle buddies, you get a triad that surrounds that soldier. This triad forms the bedrock foundation for cohesive teams, in my personal opinion. Teams that value each other, treat one another with dignity and respect, and reject the actions that break trust within our formations. Our commanders trust and empower NCOs, and I believe it is here where we build true readiness, where we can dedicate every day to the lethality of our force by ensuring squads and crews are trained and ready to face our nation's adversaries and win. But it's also where we can stamp out the cancers that exist in our formations. Sergeant Major of the Army spoke this morning about "This is my squad." This initiative reaches to the very core of what I'm trying to convey to you right now. "This is my squad" encompasses all the positive aspects of building a well-disciplined, highly trained, cohesive team. We talk a lot about that, but are we doing it? That's the question I'm asking you. It challenges our young NCOs to build pride with their units. They train together, they do PT together, they eat together, and together they build immense respect for one another and ultimately the pride in their organization. You see, because pride has incredible potential for power. It provides a foundation for us to combat the negative aspects we regretfully see in our formations today. We can identify soldiers struggling with issues and get them help before the point of irreversible harm. We can get the Army families the assistance they need with housing, spouses, employment, child care. We can, listen to me closely, stop sexual assault and sexual harassment and suicide. Our history has clearly shown us that non-commissioned officers who are empowered by their commanders can accomplish truly amazing things. The Army is looking to you. The Army trusts you, and I know that you'll embrace the SMA's This Is My Squad initiative. If you think what I'm saying is aspirational, I'd ask you to consider this vignette that I'm going to share with you. And I don't need to read it because I know the soldier well enough to tell it. So in my travels, I've had the opportunities to meet many soldiers, and one of my favorite things to do is to talk to them about where they came from, their history, why they joined the Army, what do they think about being in the Army, what's their future look like. We've all done that. Well, this soldier I'm talking about, accomplished athlete in college, All-American 3 times, college swimmer, graduated from college and decided he wanted to serve as an enlisted soldier in the United States Army. And so he joined his unit. And after talking to him about his unit, I asked the question, I said, so what do you think? What about the future? Because he's got all sorts of options. Being a college graduate, serving in the Army, he's got multiple paths he can take. He said, you know what? I think I could do my lieutenant's job. I said, of course you could. You're a college graduate. You've gone through some great training. You're being led well. Sure, you could do that. I said, but with the path you're on right now, you know, you're at where you're at. You're loving Bravo in a squad. You're loving life. What's it look like as far as NCO leadership? Are you ready for that? And I'm telling you, as quick as I asked that question, that soldier, I could never do my squad leader's job. Think about the statement that I just said to you, okay? And if any part of your mind says, well, that's not exactly how it is where I came from, then you are the change agent. Because that culture exists in many units, and it ought to exist in every unit. And if you're an officer like me, and we empower and unleash the full potential of the non-commissioned officer corps, magic will happen. Officers will have time to do other things that they shouldn't have pulled away from NCOs in the past, for whatever reason that it was. We got a great NCO corps out there. It's not just ink spots, but we've got to double down on educating and empowering our non-commissioned officers to do their job, just like Rock said. Magic will happen. So, are any soldiers for life in here? Please raise your hand. Look at that. Great. I got a mission for you too. As soldiers for life, you play an important role as an ambassador for the United States Army. When you wear an Army ball cap, put an Army sticker in your vehicle, a lapel pin on your blazer, and proudly tell fellow Americans that I was and always will be an American soldier, do me a favor, do us a favor, do the Army a favor. Tell the Army story. In fact, don't just tell the Army story, tell your Army story. Connect the Army to our communities. Help us recruit the future generation of soldiers. You served, you know what it takes to be a soldier. Who better to talk to fellow American citizens, prospects, about being a soldier than you? Let's continue to connect to America with its Army. You're our forward scouts. Reach out to your local recruiting office. Ask to volunteer. We heard about a volunteer this morning at the opening ceremony that helped bring 1,000 soldiers into the Army. Boy, if we get a couple hundred people like that, we're going to bring in the highest quality that we can yield from the American population. Your service in uniform will never be forgotten. But here's something for you. You got an opportunity to make a contribution out of uniform that's equally as meaningful. So with that, I leave it to the Sergeant Major of the Army to announce the winners of the Best Warrior competition. I will always appreciate to contribute to non-commissioned officers or the contribution of the non-commissioned officers of our Army. You are truly the backbone of our force and play a vital role in shaping our future for the Army. Never forget the power of engaged leadership. Never forget that. Continue to build those cohesive teams that are highly trained and disciplined and fit and prepared to defeat our adversaries anywhere in the world. Winning matters. Army strong.
Please be seated. General Martin, sir, thanks very much. That was very inspiring. I know there's some alumni in here that totally agree that, we've worked very hard for the non-commissioned officers to gain the trust of our officers out there, and we appreciate that. So, this year's Best Warrior competition dates back to 2002, when Chief of Staff of the Army, General Eric K. Shinseki, and Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack Tilley, made the decision to culminate the Non-Commissioned Officer and Soldier of the Year competitions from across the Army at the Department of the Army level. In 2009, as part of the Year of the Non-Commissioned Officer celebrations, Chief of Staff of the Army, General George W. Casey Jr., and the Sergeant Major of the Army decided to formally name the trophy presented to the Non-Commissioned Officer and Soldier of the Year as a way to honor the legacy of Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack Tilley, and what this competition does for our Army to enhance self-development, self-study, and to set training standards for our force. As a prelude to the big announcement, please watch this short video of the 2019 Best Warrior competition.
Creates the spirit of a soldier? What drives you forward? What propels you to face the unknown? What makes you fight? That's what you discovered in the competition against others, against yourself. 22 out of a million, you rose up, you faced the challenge, and won.
So now the announcement and the answer to the question that you've all been waiting for. So who is a non-commissioned officer and Soldier of the Year for America's Army for 2019 and the recipient of the coveted Sergeant Major of the Army Jack L. Tilley Trophy? So the only person in the whole Army and the whole world that can answer that question is the Executive Officer for the Sergeant Major of the Army's office. Please welcome to the stage Sergeant Major Edison Rebuck.
Hey, good afternoon. Can I get a whoop? All right, still sleepy. Hey, as said, my name is Edison Rebuck. I'm the Executive Officer for the Sergeant Major of the Army, and today I hold the golden ticket. The tickets that are going to reveal are the winners of this year's Best Warrior competition. But before we get into that, we do have to take pause and recognize the non-commissioned officers, the soldiers that made this year's competition tough, realistic, and worthy of crowning the Army's best. Sergeant Major Burzak from the Army G357, Sergeant Major Jefferson from the Army G1, Sergeant Major Kevin Mays, Sergeant Major David Pitts, and the linchpins that actually made all of this happen on the ground, Master Sergeants Lovett and Ellington. The Asymmetric Warfare Group and all the soldiers and NCOs that were part of the taskings and the support to make this year's event a reality. If we could give all of those a round of applause, please. General Martin, Sergeant Major of the Army, if you could join us up on the stage, please. So without further ado, the third place Soldier of the Year is Specialist Alexander Vandermark from the United States Army Pacific. The third place non-commissioned officer of the year is Staff Sergeant Eric Friedlein from the United States Army National Guard. The second place Soldier of the Year is Specialist Hunter Olson from the United States Army National Guard. The second place non-commissioned officer of the year is Sergeant Piotr Gerwal from the United States Army Europe. 2019 Soldier of the Year is, you ready? Specialist David Chambers from Forces Command. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 NCO of the Year is Staff Sergeant Dakota Bowen from Training and Doctrine.
Hey, how about one more round of applause for all of our defenders? Okay, as we finish up here at lunch, I just want to say again a special thank you to all of our distinguished guests for joining us here today. Special thanks to all of our sponsors. And again, the sponsors that you see on the tank cards, on the tables, we say thanks and have a round of applause for them. Congratulations to our non-commissioned officer and Soldier of the Year. You make us all very proud. And I would ask at this time for the non-commissioned officer, Soldier of the Year, and the non-commissioned officers and soldiers in second and third place to please come up to the front of the stage. And while they're making their way up there, the rest of the competitors, the other rest of the 21, I would ask you to come up and also join us up here at the front of the stage. And while they make their way up to the front, if you've not had the opportunity to congratulate these soldiers, you can follow the Army leadership through and the head table guests through a receiving line up here to thank our NCO and Soldier of the Year and all of our best warrior competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our lunch. Thank you very much and have a great day. Army strong.